And a good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz with your Wednesday edition of the 10 Weather Impact Show Extravaganza. Now, we did have a weather impact alert for the first part of the morning, a little bit of a lull. We're still carrying that for the second part of the day. And over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through why we still have that weather impact alert and also where the opportunity might be coming back in for another chance for some snow, followed by bitter cold this weekend. But we have been tracking that storm system coming out of the western parts of Canada, typical Alberta Clipper storm, and that's what we're watching right now. That system moving across the Midwest and the Great Lakes, bringing extreme winds across the Dakotas and a lot of snow for some. Take Wisconsin, for example. People there saw the most whiteout conditions with heavy snow, putting parts of the state in a winter weather advisory. And in Minnesota, snow plows were out early, and people there are preparing for even more snow. So again, in part, that's what's coming our way, and in part, that's why we've got the opportunity for another, or continuation, I should say, of our 10 weather impact alert that goes through this evening. We will see some rain showers, we'll see some snow showers, and we'll see some wind, gusting winds over 35 to 40 miles an hour at times, and kind of buffeting some of those higher profile vehicles, and also might be dropping temperatures far enough to cause some slick spots on the roads, but not until much later on this evening and then overnight tonight. Right now, we're looking reasonably dry around the area. When I came into work this afternoon, actually had a fair amount of blue sky. It was very windy out there, but temperatures were running around or just above 40 degrees. That is not going to last. As advertised, we're tracking another lingering area of showers. This is line number 1 moving off toward the east with some gusty, brief downpours. To the west of that, we're seeing more scattered showers coming back in, as well as the breaks in the overcast filling back in. That snow already around Bellefontaine, Marysville, Urbana, and London. And further off toward the west, you see that transition as the cold air rushes in around Fort Wayne, west of Toledo, and around Indianapolis as we get through the middle part of this afternoon. Eventually, that area will fill back in with more rain than snow showers. That is how we're going to finish off our Wednesday. I do expect most of the precipitation will be moving through when we get through Thursday, but that's still going to be very short-lived. And again, next couple of minutes, I'll tell you why. Looking at those breaks in the cloud cover filling back in, we do see a little bright spot off toward the east of downtown, but the low clouds continue to kind of bubble in and produce a couple of areas of light scattered rain showers at the moment. And the winds, we've been talking about that for quite some time. That west wind at 23 that you see, that is the sustained wind. Winds gusting 35 to almost 40 miles an hour at times, especially in the slightly higher elevations north and west of Franklin County and Columbus, where 44 again feels like 35. Looking at the next several hours, we're watching the scattered nature of those showers moving in between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, changing over to all snow showers by 5 o'clock. So toward the middle part of the rush hour, you're making your way home just before sunset this evening. I do expect to see mainly in the north, northeast, and eastern parts of the viewing area some of those scattered snow showers coming down pretty hard for just a few minutes. Everything begins to dry out as we get through sunset, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and we will pretty much end tonight and start your Thursday dry. Save for a passing flurry, that should be about it. Next 12 hours also are accompanied by a pretty sharp temperature drop. Mid-afternoon, temperatures getting down below 40 degrees as that cold air comes in and then accelerates that temperature slide down to the upper 20s as we get through 3 o'clock in the morning. There's that stray flake, no accumulation expected. The only thing I might caution you about, or just to give you a heads up, that if the elevated roadways, the overpasses and the bridges and some of those areas that have both a surface on top of the road and exposed on the bottom, they're going to cool a little faster. Now, we're not dropping down to 5 degrees, but we're going to be below freezing. So what I'm trying to say is if those areas look wet, they're probably going to be a little bit slick. So just be careful tomorrow morning. Temperatures do struggle tomorrow, but you notice also an absence of any rain or snow. You see a hint of some sunshine around 1 o'clock. I think we'll be a little brighter than that tomorrow, but it's not going to help very much in warming things up. It will help dry out the roads, but as I said, our break from the rain and the snow especially, is just one day. As we get into Friday morning after midnight, we're watching another system. We're kind of in that winter groove, even it's only early to mid-December. That next system begins to work back in from the western Great Lakes again, spreading some light snow from Columbus south and west. So if you're traveling toward Dayton, down 71 towards Cincinnati, down 23 or down 33, or an area of some snow showers will be moving in. Very light snow expected in and around Columbus. It might be a coating to a half-inch. Areas south of that where they get a bit more prolonged snow by mid-morning and then through the first part of the day, we'll see maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow. It's going to be colder, The snow is going to be a little bit lighter. It's going to be blown around by some blustery winds, but by midday on Friday, then through the rest of the afternoon, we're going to catch a bit of a break, save for a passing flurry. It'll be breezy, temperatures back in the 30s, and for the most part, we're going to be dry. That also lasts about one day, that afternoon I should say, because we're expecting and forecasting more snow as we get into the weekend, especially on Saturday. Now, the other thing I want to bring to your attention, and this is a gradual cool down at first, we're looking at the overnight low temperatures, not the daytime highs. How cold is it going to be when you wake up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? Low 20s, that's still unseasonably cold and certainly below freezing. Sunday really is the biggest swing, dropping about 10 degrees between Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And even though that area, a drop will be smaller, that change between 10 and 5, Monday morning, if things come together, we're still going to be kind of breezy. We're going to be dry with a little fresh snow cover. That 5 might be generous. We've talked about this before. It doesn't happen often, but we might be looking at temperatures in many locations in the single digits and some spots down near 0. And if you're expecting, wanting, wishing, looking for a break from that extreme cold, not coming anytime soon, the northeastern part of the U.S., including the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, all well below normal to below normal. Normal high is in the 40-degree range, well below normal temperatures. That's about 1 or 2 notches below, right around 30 to 35. So that's what we're tracking. Not every single day is exactly the same. You know that as well as I do, but generally speaking, those temperatures are going to be below normal as we head through the middle of the month and the weekend leading up to Christmas. 10 weather impact, 7-day forecast for you. Thursday will be brisk. We'll see a couple of flurries. Friday, mainly morning snow showers, light accumulation as possible. We're going to fine-tune that forecast as it gets closer. In some spots on Friday, to be clear, we'll not see a flake. Saturday, a better chance of everybody seeing some more widespread light snow. Temperatures only in the 20s, so a lighter snow, a little fluffier. 18 on Sunday, that's a top temperature. 5 on Monday morning, 25 for a high. Get a little bit better, 25, 27, 39, but we'll watch the next chance of precipitation likely coming back in the middle of next week, mainly a better chance of rain showers and not snow. So depending how you slice it, that might be a little bit of good news. Now, speaking of some snow locally and then outside of Ohio, some people might be really excited, including this guy, to get out and ski. Snow trails in Mansfield opening their slopes tomorrow. That is the 11th of December. Super excited for our friends up around Mansfield. They'll be open from 10 a.m. To 7 p.m. 7 days a week. The tubing section of the park won't be ready until next week. People can buy tickets now. Also, Winter Wonderland takes more than freezing temperatures. CNN's Emily Pike takes us behind the scenes at a Maine ski resort to show how snow is created from the ground up.
Very wet and loud occupation.
Lost Valley owner Scott Shanaman and his crew are working day and night to get the slopes ready for the resort's second earliest opening in more than 30 years. All thanks to December's cold and snowy start. With a solid base already down, Lost Valley groomers can focus on making a predictable terrain, even with unpredictable temperatures.
You know, it's hard to get perfect snowmaking temperatures to get the really nice quality snow. So when we get it, it's fantastic.
Snowmaking depends on how fast water droplets can freeze, which is controlled by the wet bulb temperature, a measure that focuses on humidity.
It can be cold, but it can be wet cold, and that's not good for snowmaking.
Ski resorts carefully measure wet bulb temperature, humidity, air pressure, and water temperature to create the perfect snow. Even small changes in humidity can affect how fast the snow freezes and how it falls. Water is drawn from the brook at the base of the hill and pumped to the pump house. Then, staff turn on the snow guns, adjusting them however they need.
The higher you go on the stages, you're putting more water in, less air, much more efficient snowmaking.
The pressurized water travels through a network of buried pipes up the hill with connectors wherever a snow gun may be needed.
Nice information there, and it's also worth noting that a lot of the water at those ski resorts is recycled, and that's some really, really interesting information. So we're also looking at the opportunity again for checking out some cool video. We're looking at areas in New York, looking at the snow-covered roads Those roads, again, wreaking havoc on travel in and around New York. We're looking at the opportunity. That's I-86 there. Travel is very, very difficult. This video taken as the snow began to fly there. And another thing, as we know from living around the Great Lakes, is really difficult travel in and around the Great Lakes as long as they stay unfrozen. And then we're looking at travel problems continuing there around Lake Erie and, of course, around Lake Ontario, pulling off westbound around Findlay and Lake in New York. Another video, which you have to check out, SpaceX Falcon 9 launched 27 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit from Space Launch Complex at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. This marked the 18th flight for the first stage booster supporting the mission, which previously launched 14 other Starlink missions. There's a possibility that residents of Santa Barbara and Ventura counties might have heard one or more sonic booms during the launch, depending on weather and wind and other conditions. So hopefully we set you up with some cool video, put a smile on your face as you're preparing the hot chocolate, wear the snow shovels, the snow gloves, the snow blowers, and all those things. And of course, start thinking now on Wednesday about your weekend menu. I'm talking crock pots and comfort food and soup, and some really good casseroles will be a nice way to kind of get into the weekend, especially on Sunday. So that's it for your 10 Weather Impact Show on this Wednesday. I'll have an update on the forecast for the rest of this evening. Heading into Friday's snow, Saturday's snow, and the bitter cold to follow. Join me today on 10 TV at 4 o'clock. Have a nice afternoon.